Welcome back. We're going to start our Monday out thinking about your health. If you want to be healthier this year, or maybe you need to due to illness, well, what about your sugars? What can you do to make sure you swap out high sugared foods for ones that are healthier? And what about sugars that lurk in foods that you may not even know that it's there? Well, I recently had an interesting discussion all about this. Let's take a look.
Whether you're still trying to shed those pandemic pounds, you're concerned about prediabetes, or have diabetes, there are lots of reasons why people are trying to kick the sugar habit. But what you may not know is hidden sugars lurk in your diet, which may sabotage your efforts to lose weight and control blood sugar. Here with tips on how to live a healthier life is Diana Licalzi, registered dietitian nutritionist and founder of Reversing Type 2 Diabetes, and Biz Vellatini, food blogger of My Busy Kitchen, who has been managing her diabetes for 24 years and recently experienced breakthrough success. Diana and Biz, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us, Christine.
Diana, we all know sugar isn't great for us, but why should we really limit our sugar?
So that's a great question. So most people don't realize how much added sugar they're actually consuming on a daily basis. In fact, on average, Americans are consuming about 17 teaspoons of added sugar per day, which is about 57 pounds of added sugar in a year. And nowadays, added sugar is in so many of the foods that we eat on a daily basis, from our breads to our yogurts to salad dressings. Even in our peanut butter, there's added sugar. So it's just so easy to overconsume these added sugars. And when we do overconsume them, they can lead to weight gain, inflammation, spikes in our blood sugar, and they can even lead to the development of pre and type 2 diabetes.
And Diana, what is the relationship sugar has to the risk of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes? And how can someone make swaps to help limit their sugar consumption?
Yeah, so when we eat these foods with added sugars, it causes an immediate spike in our blood sugars, our blood glucose. And that spike is usually followed by a quick crash, a decline in that sugar. And that can lead us feeling tired, low energy, and it can cause us to have more cravings and actually increase our appetite to want to have something sweet to make us feel a little bit more awake. But really, over the long term, when we're eating these added sugars, in excess over a long period of time, it can lead to weight gain. And weight gain is a major risk factor for pre-diabetes. And if that's left untreated, it can lead to type 2 diabetes. Fortunately, there's a lot of great ways to reduce your added sugars. One of those is by using sugar substitutes. They give people that sweet taste that they're looking for, but it doesn't cause that havoc on their blood sugar or contribute to excess calories in the diet.
Biz, what can you tell us about your experiences with diabetes and your diet?
Yeah, so I became diabetic quite by accident. I didn't even know I even had pre-diabetes, let alone diabetes. I just did a health fair at a job I was at, and they immediately said, you need to get an endocrinologist. So I have diabetes that runs in my family, and for the last 24 years, I've been what I consider managing it, but I was at a plateau with my weight loss, and I figured I needed to try something else. So I went to a nutritionist where she suggested I stayed at 20 grams of carbs a day. I was like, all day? That's all I get? But I was like, yeah, I got this. So I decided to go home, and as soon as I opened my refrigerator, I saw that my beloved creamer was 5 grams of sugar for only 1 tablespoon. And I quickly realized I needed to do something different. So we are so excited to be partnering with Splenda for their 21-day swaps, where they suggest you swap out sugar for Splenda just for 21 days, 21 days to build a habit. And so that first week I jumped 2 feet in and quickly replaced from my morning coffee to stirring it into my Greek yogurt to making stuff like baked teriyaki chicken at night. And that first week I lost 2.8 pounds, and I realized, wow, that was like the aha moment. I really only paid attention to the amount of carbohydrates I was eating so that I could figure out how much insulin to give myself, and really didn't care about any of the other numbers. But I'm realizing that all the numbers matter. So by making these swaps, it wasn't that hard. If you don't know where to start, Splenda has some amazing recipes. Just go to splenda.com. On the homepage, they have a recipe button. And for me, I love the fact that some of the recipes have a diabetes-friendly logo on it, which means they've already met the dietary guidelines for the American Diabetes Association. So it's a no-brainer. They've already done the work for me, and I can just make delicious recipes for my family. And no one really realizes they're eating healthier. It's kind of my secret, but now I'm letting the secret out.
And Biz, are there any other substitutes that you've made that help manage your diabetes and swap sugar out of your diet?
Yeah, I'm going to say that my go-to now for baking is the Splenda with monk fruit. And it looks and tastes just like sugar. It bakes like sugar. The crumb to my muffins and my cakes looks exactly as sugar would. And because I'm using sugar substitutes, I'm reducing the amount of total carbohydrates I'm eating in the day, which means I'm taking less insulin, which will hopefully lead me to a long life with type 1 diabetes.
Diana, what advice do you have for people wanting to eat healthier and stop their sugar overload?
So something I tell my patients is to look for those sources of added sugars in your diet. So be your own food detective. Look at those nutrition labels, read those ingredients, and see if there's any sugar lurking in your foods. And sugar comes in so many different names these days. So it may be listed as high fructose corn syrup, but it may also be listed as cane sugar. So become aware of those different names and start to really minimize that added sugar and use sugar substitutes as a healthier swap.
Well, thank you so much, Biz and Diana, for joining us today. Really appreciate your time and presenting this important information to us about these great substitutes that we can utilize to help with diabetes and other health issues. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having us, Cheryl.
Thank you.